So in 2022, I was called to the Bar of England and Wales. And no, I didn't suddenly start earning six figures. I wasn't wearing a wig, and I definitely wasn't walking into court every morning. What I did do was this. I became a support worker. I worked 24-hour shifts, sometimes 36 hours straight. I kept my part-time job at Iceland Foods, which I had had since 2016, and I was doing a 2-day-a-week legal internship. 3 months later, I had enough saved for a home deposit. This video is about why I didn't wait for my bar qualification to start paying me and what I chose to do instead of waiting. If you are a bar student, you understand this. The moment people hear call to the bar, they assume you've made it. But you and I know being called to the bar is not the same as being financially secure. It doesn't come with pupillage, it doesn't come with chambers, and it definitely doesn't come with a guaranteed income. Especially when there are far more qualified candidates than there are pupillages. So I had a decision to make. Do I wait for the perfect legal opportunity, or do I take control of my income now? I chose the latter. Why? Because life didn't pause just because I passed the bar. For context, I chose to marry my wife within 6 months of meeting her. This was right after my final bar exams, before I even knew whether I had passed. A few months later, we had a baby on the way. So waiting it out wasn't really an option. Now, here is something bar students are not warned about enough. Once you are called, people expect the money to follow. Family, friends, and even you. But most of them don't understand how difficult it is to actually get into practice at the bar. What often comes after a call is pressure, silence, and uncertainty. Instead of waiting around, I worked. This is the mindset shift that changed everything for me. A qualification doesn't owe you money. Not the bachelor's in law degree, not the bar practice course certificate, and not being called to the bar. So I refused to sit at home thinking I'm too qualified for this, or I will just wait until chambers come through. Bills don't wait. Rent doesn't wait. Babies definitely don't wait unless you make a clear decision and take real steps to prevent that. I asked myself an honest question. What can I do right now that pays consistently? That is how I found support work. Let me be clear, support work is not glamorous. I was doing 24-hour shifts, sometimes 36 hours straight, back to back, physically exhausting, mentally demanding. But here's the difference. It paid immediately and it paid consistently. And there was overtime available. Whilst other bar graduates were waiting for pupillage cycles, I was stacking shifts, and this part matters for bar students. I didn't abandon law. At the same time, I was working full-time in support work, keeping my part-time retail job at Iceland Foods. I was also completing a 2-day-a-week legal internship. It sounds like chaos, but it was structured. Every role had a purpose. Retail kept steady cash coming in. Support work accelerated my savings. The internship kept my legal CV active. That balance matters a lot. I won't romanticize it. There were days I barely slept. Days I finished a night shift and went straight into another responsibility. Days I questioned how long I could sustain it. But I kept reminding myself, this is temporary. This is short-term pressure for long-term stability. While some people were protecting their ego, I was protecting my future. And because I was working long shifts, I wasn't spending much. Meals were planned, transport was controlled, income was predictable. Within 3 months, I had enough saved for a home deposit. I have to give my pregnant wife and our baby a stable, comfortable home. Not luck, not inheritance, just uncomfortable, consistent effort. And honestly, many qualified lawyers don't have that peace because they are waiting for permission to earn. I didn't. If you're a bar student watching this, hear me clearly. Success doesn't always look impressive. Sometimes it looks like a bar graduate working night shifts, a future barrister stacking shelves, someone choosing income over image. There is no shame in honest work. The real danger is pride without provision. If you are called but not practicing, if you are between pupillage cycles, if you feel embarrassed about doing non-legal work, let me say this plainly. Do what funds your future, not what flatters your title. Your call to the bar isn't going anywhere. Your training isn't wasted, but your time is being spent every single day. I didn't wait for the law to pay me. I paid myself first. If you're on a bar journey and this resonated, like the video, subscribe and tell me where you are. Are you a student? Called to the bar? Are you pupillage seeking or are you practicing? Because sometimes the fastest way forward is doing the work no one applauds until it pays off.